This is just a little short video of some guns that I have, and maybe give some ideas of what a person might want to consider for like a home defense gun. The first one here is a Magnum powered 22 caliber break barrel pellet rifle. This is a Gamma Magnum. It's a Magnum Swarm. Has a 10-shot magazine in it. You just break the barrel open. It comes out with about 24 to 26 foot-pounds of energy, which is good for small game hunting, but it can cause lethal shots with a good shot placement if somebody needed to. I'm not talking about in the leg or something like that. The next one is a pre-charged pneumatic pellet rifle, and I use this one for big game hunting, medium-sized game hunting. So far, I've shot pigs with it. Has a 500cc air reservoir on it. It's a single shot. Uses about a 95 grain pellet. The 22 uses about an 18 grain pellet, 14 to 18 grain pellet. But this one here, it's good for 50 yards. So close range, with a 95 grain pellet, it's coming out of the muzzle with about 180 foot-pounds of energy. So it's got two power levels. I can use a small power level or a heavy power level, and so I can vary the power level to two different powers. So if I'm shooting something small close up, I can go with the first power level. As far as home defense goes, you can leave this loaded, cocked, in a safe place. This one here you can also leave loaded because they have air pistons, not spring pistons. The next one is a 22 caliber revolver. Holds 6 shots in it. You have to pull the hammer all the way back in order to shoot it. And this is a Ruger. It's pretty old, You pull it all the way back, and it's ready to shoot. Very reliable. There's certain types of ammunition for home defense that are pretty good, better than others. You don't want to be using target ammunition. You want to use something that could cause some internal damage, maybe a segmented round or something. This is a 22 caliber rifle. Has a 10-shot magazine. It's a semi-automatic, and that's a Ruger 1022. Pretty common rifle. I don't have a scope on it because if I'm shooting indoors, I don't want a scope on that kind of a rifle. Now on the pellet rifles, I can take the scopes off too. Both of these have sights on them. I prefer sights over scopes for close range. Alright, the next one is a 12 gauge pump shotgun. Holds 3 shells in California. It can hold about 5 or so outside of California. And that's the most powerful gun of all these guns at the muzzle. And I can use birdshot, I can use buckshot, I can use slugs and that kind of stuff. There's also something called a cut shell. And that's where you cut around the bottom part of the plastic shell where it meets the metal in that area. And then when the projectile shoots, it goes out in one piece instead of as birdshot. And that's pretty effective. That'll go for like 100 yards. And then the next one is a hunting rifle, center point. And this is a 223. I have them in all kinds of calibers. And this is also known as the 5.56 round. So it's either 5.56 or 223. This particular rifle is only 223. It's not both. This one has to have a scope on it. And this one is very common for self-defense or for hunting or for target practice. And the next one is is a hunting rifle. It's similar to an AR by design. It's called the Diamondback. It's a semi-automatic, and it has a 10-shot magazine. And I have a laser on it, which I focus in for 25 yards. And it has a scope on it because there's no sights on it. I can add sights, but I don't want to. I zero in the scope for 50 yards, and I zero in the laser at 25 yards. And this is a very common self-defense, home defense type of gun. Pretty reliable. And this is in 5.56, so I can use 5.56 or 223 ammunition. Getting back to the 223 here, there's all kinds of ammunition available for this. Maybe a hollow point would be a good home defense round. Alright, and then on the shotgun, there's all kinds of shells. I can use 2 3/4 or 3-inch shells in this rifle. You can buy this rifle with ghost sights on it. So, it depends on what you want. I don't want sights on it. I just use the regular bead sight. Because when it's home defense, you don't even need to aim. You just point and shoot, in my opinion. So, I'll go over these again. I got a high-powered Magnum pellet rifle. I got a high-powered pre-charged pneumatic pellet rifle. I got a .22 revolver. I got the shotgun. That comes in different gauges. This is a 12 gauge. I got a 223 rifle. That comes in different calibers. And I have the 5.56 or 223 semi-automatic rifle. One thing I didn't mention is the last thing. And this is a pistol. And this is a 9mm. It holds 9 rounds in the magazine, I think. It's either 8 or 9. And it's a semi-automatic. And these run about $159. And they're really reliable. They're ugly. They're heavy. But they're dependable. So this is a high point pistol. I also have a high point carbine. Here's the magazines. And I have 2 magazines. They're pretty inexpensive. And there's like $20 a piece. And there's a holster I got for it. And there's more crimes committed with 9mm pistols than any other gun. But it's also a really good home defense round. So a lot of people would rather have a pistol. Some people would rather have a rifle. To me, in my opinion, if I had to choose just one of these, I would either choose the shotgun or one of the pistols. So that's it in my opinion. But anybody, if you got a gun, you can use that as a home defense. If you've had felonies and you've been in prison over a year or jail over a year at one time, you might have to go with a crossbow, But if you've have been in prison or jail for a year or less, and you have a felon, you can use black powder, or you can use pellet rifles. So pellet rifles are a good alternative. If you've been in prison over a year, you might have to go with something like this, and that's a crossbow. So, and they're really powerful and really accurate. And they run about $250 on up. Right around there. So that's it in a nutshell. Hope this gives you an idea of what you can use. The most powerful, again, is the 12 gauge shotgun. That's with like a slug or buckshot.